Okay, part 2 of the how to run a BrickStore, Bricklink even, store, Bricklink, Brick Owl store, whatever it is, coming up, starting with parting out. So I'm doing this as just generally part of my store's everyday activity. I got these 3 sets at a great discount price from Amazon. The Bogotan figure pretty much going for the rate that I sold the entire set. From a parts point of view, there's nothing majorly new in the set for the store. It's not adding any new lots other than the Bogotan, which I have sold out of a couple of those already. So there's nothing major for the store. It really is just about the minifigures and some volume of Star Warsy parts. I have in the past sold a couple of these Din Grogus. They've gone well. But this is obviously one way to bring minifigures into the store at good rates, especially when the minifigure is pretty much paying for the set. Now, there's a lot of debate about the ideal number to do when you're doing a part out, and some people will talk about multiples of 5 to 10. I've seen some American sites talking about doing 20, 30, 40 boxes all at once. I mean, I don't know about most resellers, but my reality is that investing 100 and whatever it was dollars in 3 sets is a fair old investment on one thing. So I have tended to do 2s or 3s. Occasionally on a battle pack I may have done more, where I've got a great price on it. Like there's a great deal on Amazon at the moment for a couple of the battle packs where it brings them down to like the mid-20s of a set. So we're going to part that out. So first things first is getting set up. And I have found this invaluable in saving you time and being efficient with your time. So cups, and I've talked about that in the blog on the website. So that set comes with 130 lots in it. So you are going to need 130 cups if you are going to divvy it up like that. We're only talking 1,608 parts in total, but that is 130 lots. So in terms of what you can expect that to take up, that is half a desk of cups. And then over here is a full desk of cups all laid out. And that is 130 cups. It's a lot of room that you need, not to mention somewhere to sort. And as you will have seen in my blog, I use this little high-rise table from IKEA. It's on top of a standard desk, so I'm not having to stoop over and stuff like that. And I've done these part outs in 2 ways. Sometimes I put parts away as I'm going, when I know where they live, and where I know things are going in containers, which I have for large volumes of things, I often put them to this side to be put away later rather than picking a tub, taking the lids off, things like that. It's a bit easier with drawers. So that's kind of how I get set up. And then one of the things that I have kind of done previously is actually do the BSX file first. So anyone that hasn't used BrickStore a lot, it's real simple. You just go to File, Import, Bricklink Set Inventory. You type in the set number, you put how many copies you've got, and you can set these parameters, whether or not you're parting out the minifigures, whether it's new or used, whether you're including the extra parts, whatnot. And then you open the file and it brings everything up that's in the set. Now what then I do is go through and mark up the things that I know are usual. So for instance, all of my Star Wars instructions are in instructions box 3, so that can go in there. My Grogus and Mandalorians are in tray 4, and because I want to keep it neat and tidy, I'm going to put Bogotan in my overflow tub 5, which has been what I've been using recently. You then can go through and set all of the pricing however you want, whether you're going to do that through current inventory average, whether you're going to do the last 6 months sales average, or whatever it is that those parameters that you do. And then it populates the whole file, and you can go through parts and have a look if any of those spring out to you as unusual, or you haven't had them before, or things like that. Or what I often do before I've even done anything is I will go to File, Export, Mass Upload, which will take you into Bricklink, consolidate, new pricing and tiers, and then verify that file. And what that does is it then shows you where all the parts should live. So you can go through this list and see if you are getting new lots. And as I already said, this is not adding any new lots, so all of these drawers and containers and trays are all accounted for. But it does give you a quick idea of things that are going to need a new home. It also gives you a quantity. So if you know you've got an awful lot of these jumper plates already and you're going to have to reallocate, you can make that decision to do it prior to adding this in, or just pull it to one side and do it at the end. So you can just scroll through, see all of the bits and pieces, and get a good feel for the set itself in terms of what it holds, in terms of the part out for you. So that's what I then do. Knowing that I've got that file all sorted, I'll then kind of get stuck into the meat and drink of cracking open the boxes, emptying them out and working through them bag by bag. So I'll open a few bags and then show you that stage. Okay, so boxes opened and bags sorted into their numerical sets. So this is bags 1 through to 4 and 3 sets of instructions. Now you could probably want to make a decision whether or not you're going to keep all 3 sets of instructions, or whether you're going to discard a couple, keep one just in case someone wants to buy one further down the track. Either way, you probably want to scan that QR code and get the insider's points, unless you are a store that isn't doing that. And to be honest, I haven't decided which way to go on that yet. As of now, I've never scanned any of them. So there's probably an awful lot of insider points sitting in containers that I could be tapping into and getting some discounts. So there's 2 trains of thought here. Kind of, I think the most popular way that people do it is just to tack a bag at a time and just kind of open them all out and stick them on the tray. What you'll find is that there'll be parts in bag 1 that are also in bag 3. So it's probably depending on your workflow. And like I say, sometimes I've put things away, especially when I've been doing large part outs like a UCS or something like that, where I just haven't got the space to have 500 cups laid out, where I've done it in batches and I've put things away in stages. It really does come down to what space you've got, time you've got, and how you approach that. So I'm going to do this bag by bag. We're going to start with bag 1. So over we go. And this is where kind of you need plenty of room, right? And doing this with one hand is impossible, so bear with me a second. Okay, so bag 1 emptied, and as always, there's bags within bags. So there's 3 of those set aside, and then there are just the general parts from bag 1. Now, given that you've got 3, you know that pretty much there's going to be multiples of 3 of everything as you go through. If you want to just double check that you're not missing a part. To be fair, the instances of missing a part in a Lego set are few and far between, and if you are missing one, chances are it's in the cellophane bag that you've just tossed in the bin. So what I do is I pretty much I have all of my brick separators stashed in an overflow bin, so they just kind of go in a container over here on this side, which is just kind of the stuff that's going to get packed away. Similarly with these large Technic frames, they also live in a overflow bin, but for the purposes of this I'm going to show you kind of how I work from a color coding perspective. So what I try to do with all of the cups is work in color blocks, so it makes it easier when you're putting things away. So starting with black, 3 of those in there. Then we've got these plates, 3 of those, and I know they're going to go in an overflow, one of my 2 litre or 5 litre containers, but for now they're in there. something like this, which is like a red panel, I'm going to keep in a different area. So I'm going to start with red down here, okay? So red stuff's going to go down there. There's 3 of these axles, probably a 6, maybe a 6L axle. Right, then what I also do is I try and separate the minifigures. So parts of Dinjarin and Grogu are in here. And when you've got sets that have got lots of minifigures in it, spread across multiple bags, what I often do is have several tubs and I just stack them as I go through the bags. So getting the parts, then I'll stick them on there, and then as I go through a bag, when it's a new minifigure, I'll put another container just over the top of that one, rather than having them spread out. Just saves space, allows me to keep it clean, makes it easier to figure out minifigure parts when you get to actually putting them together. So there's the rest of Dinjarin and Grogu. Then we've got 3 of these modified plates. So dark grey, so black, I'm going to give that a few rows, and then I'm going to start with grey there. They don't really fit, but it'll do the job. And then we've got some brown over here. There's not going to be a huge amount of red, so let's just start with brown down there, and tan these brackets, of which there are 3, 4, 5, 6. Doing this left-handed is good fun. So tan can go in there, and then we've got some reddish brown 1x4s, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of those, again divisible by 3. A rogue pair of trousers needs to go over there, and so on and so forth through all of the parts. And then before you know it, now I have all of my 2x2 plates in a container which is 2L25, and I mix up white, dark grey, black and light blue grey all in one. So rather than needing to separate all of those out, if we have a mixture of colour of those, I don't need to. I can just house them all in one cup, which again saves me space moving forward. But for now, they all go in there. There's another couple there. And this is what you find, right? No matter how Hawkeye you are, you're always going to find a few later on that spring on you. Again, these go in one of my 2-litre containers. And there is 4, 5, 6 of those. So light grey. So we'll give dark grey a few rows, and then we'll start light grey there. And then we've got some more black Technic connectors, or whatever you call them, lift arms, I'm not sure what they come under. In they go, and so we go. So I'll crack on with that, and then we'll come back. Okay, that's all of the parts sorted into cups. That's taken 40 minutes. So that is 1,600 parts, 40 minutes worth of work to part it out. What will be interesting is that I have, excuse my Coke, not that type, 1,600 parts purchased from a Bricklink seller already bagged up. So I might do a little comparison of how long it takes me to do that as a part out after we've completed this. So I didn't use all of the cups, some have been moved from over here, because I have consolidated some parts into similar cups as I've gone along. So my 1x4s, I know they all live together. Some things joined the cups that were over there. For instance, those inverted curved slopes all live in BD55 altogether, things like that. But otherwise, I've tried to keep this all separated out. And as you can see, that's 40 minutes worth of your time. And here are the minifigures. So Bo-Katan was in a separate bag, and Grogu and Dinjarin were in that bag. So they're all there. So then what I then do is head over to your mass inventory upload, and then you simply work through it. So having worked them out into color blocks, it makes it a little bit easier to find the group of parts. So we're looking for black bricks modified, and they're going to go into T20. Now, I underestimated some of the quantities. Black, light blue grey, I've got some over here. Dark blue grey continues over there. But we're looking for those black bricks. Here they are over here. A whole little bunch of them. And they're going into T20. So, where are they? There they are. Job done. So, I'm going to put all of this away. It is 11:41. Sorry, 1:41. Let's see how long it takes me to put away 130 lots. Okay, so it's all put away, including the minifigures, and it is 2:10, so that took me a further half an hour. So all up, kind of including prep, probably a couple of hours to do 1,600 pieces, which is a big chunk of time and kind of shows how many it is possible to do in a day. And I guess this is where the debate about doing large quantities of them all at once comes in. You know, the time difference in doing 10 versus doing 3 is probably not that much. I haven't tested it, so I can't speak to it authentically, but I imagine it still adds a chunk of time. So it is a fair chunk of time. So once that's all put away, you go back to your mass inventory upload. You just scroll through, make sure everything's got remarks so that you can find everything, and then hammer all the way down to the bottom and you upload the file. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm adding this to a larger BSX file that I'm uploading at the end of the day. But that, in its nutshell, is parting out. Now, as a little bit of experiment, I'm going to quickly run through these, which is about the equivalent amount of parts. There's not as many lots, admittedly, but just in terms of how many parts that is. So it is 2:10. Let's see how long it takes me to sort all of this. 20 minutes later, everything is away. The only thing I have to sort now is some reallocation of things that don't fit. So these two Technic parts overflowing in there, and similarly with those, plenty of rooms in the trays to move those around. So I'll do that off camera, but everything's packed away, everything's in its tubs and containers. So as you can see, having someone else doing the parting out really does speed up my process significantly. So there we are, that is parting out. I hope that was useful. Any questions, any comments, any tips, leave them in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with more of my helpful, I hope they're helpful anyway, videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.